Hey everybody, today we're taking a look at Superman The Last Son Deluxe Edition hardcover. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're looking at this Last Son Deluxe Edition hardcover that I got from Ollie's for like 12 bucks. So check your Ollie's right now, y'all. Alright, so Superman The Last Son. What is this? Well, is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it the absolute Jeff Johns, Gary Frank? No, there's no Gary Frank on here. So it's hella confusing how they're collected Jeff Johns' run on Action Comics from the post 1 year later era of DC. You have this collection, Superman Last Son of Krypton, which has the main Last Son storyline that both of these are named after with the Adam Kubert art. This trade paperback, which I think you can still find a version of this out and around, has the Last Son storyline with all of its delays and then jumps immediately into the Brainiac storyline where Brainiac comes. So what happened there? Well, Brainiac happens after the Legion of Superheroes. Where the hell is that? That's got Gary Frank art. The only place to find this is in this hardcover, and I think there was a trade paperback, which they've never reprinted this trade for some reason. And it's not included in this one. Like, if you're going to throw Gary Frank in there, at least throw Legion of Superheroes in here after. But Legion of Superheroes doesn't come after Last Son. Do you know what comes after Last Son? Freaking the Brainiac, or the... gosh, what's it called? Bizarro story with Eric Powell, which is also co-written by Dick Donner, the famed director Richard Donner of the Superman 78, right? So what, like, DC, what are you doing? Like, let's throw everything together in one trade or two trades and just call it a day instead of having all these confusing editions. Like, you have, I'm complaining right now, you have this Last Son Deluxe Edition, which came out, I believe, last year. You have this old trade paperback, which has a different title, technically, The Last Son and Last Son of Krypton, but totally different contents in terms of the second half of the book. This half is in your Absolute Edition with the Brainiac stuff and also Superman's Secret Origin, which I thought I had in paperback on my shelf, but I don't. Like, what are we doing here? And if I have these two trade paperbacks, here's the main problem. If I have these, and I have Superman's Secret Origin, how do I get Eric Powell? How do I get the Bizarro story? Well, the whole reason I bought this is because it has the Eric Powell Bizarro story in it. And since it was a deal I couldn't pass up, normally it ran for what, $25, $30? $50, holy shit. $50, then I said, well, for $12 at Ollie's, I will gladly pick this up. So what does this contain? This contains, bear with me now, Action Comics, 844 through 846, 851, and 855 through 857, and Action Comics Annual 10 and 11. So why is that all over the place? Well, guys, in 2007, 8, when Action Comics was coming out and Jeff Johns and Dick Donner were writing it, Adam Kubert was on art. You also had his brother Andy Kubert on Batman with Grant Morrison on their first arc with the Joker and all that stuff. That was a great first arc. Action Comics fell behind. It fell behind real bad. Like, really fucking bad. And here's some gorgeous Adam Kubert. I don't want to blame it on Adam Kubert. I don't want to blame it on Jeff Johns. I don't want to blame it on Dick Donner. But somebody was late, maybe all of them. And they basically end up splitting this storyline across issues. So much so that Chris Kent here, as he became known, actually had his own adventures in Action Comics written by Kurt Busiek. That was taking place in the middle of this storyline. Like, they had the first 3 issues of this storyline. And then the next issue of Action Comics was Clark and Lois, who were kind of taking care of him at the time, going on adventures with them. And then this storyline actually finished with Chris Kent, never to be seen again, going back home to the Phantom Zone and stuff like that. And it's like, what? Why? Why did they insert this character into the storyline if they're, if he's not going to do anything? So, Superman the Last Son. And I say that because like his character is kind of back in the Sinister Sons comic book right now. This kid is actually the kid of Zod. I don't think it's a spoiler. Like, this book is 25 years old. But yeah, this is where this beautiful image is from. I like Adam Kubert a lot. I feel like his stuff more recently, he's lost. This is my problem with Adam Kubert. He does a lot of these 2-page spreads. And I think he's done this throughout his career. And it just doesn't work well sometimes when it's collected. Sometimes he does them where he splits it down the middle. And Bendis and Bagley were guilty of this too. But it's just like, why are you doing this? If it's a 2-page spread, just make it 1-page and 2-page. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's more cinematic or that way, but like I feel like this works just as well in terms of page layout as better than that, right? Yeah, this panel's bigger, but you certainly could have figured out a different way to draw it. And look, with the fold over here, is it as impactful? No. Like, I can go get the real image off my iPad and not have the gutter loss. There's a lot of gutter loss here in these early issues because Adam Kubert's choosing to do these 90s things like this where you have to turn it sideways. You know, like, come on. You don't need to do that. Look how beautiful this image is. And here's how it's originally presented. Like, come on, what are we doing? Silly. Also stuff like this. 2 pages. Technically, I guess you're going from here to here, but you can barely tell because this little bat wing is supposed to tell you that this is panel 1 and this is panel 2. But can you tell? There's a split down the middle of this page and a split between these panels on across the bottom. Like, if I didn't tell you that, are you going to read at this page and then be confused about what they're talking about and then go here and be confused? I would be. Are they 2 different conversations? It looks like it. So how are you supposed to like make sense of this? So yeah, he does that a lot in this book. And that's my one complaint. Like, I like Adam Kubert art. His panel layout to me makes me want to grind my teeth sometimes. But yeah, so here's a boy. He's discovered. He's got Kryptonian powers. They're trying to figure out where he's from. And then turns out General Zod, Ursa, and Non from the Superman 78 are here. And, you know, surprise, surprise, he belongs to them. So now you have Superman going like, always mental challenge of like, you know, what's the right thing to do? Send the kid home with his parents? Oh, yeah, and there's a whole bunch of other Phantom Zoners that come across here, too. This is kind of the origin. Mon-El's here. And then here's Metallo, Brainiac, or not Brainiac, Bizarro. I get these 2 guys mixed up with the Bees. Parasite, and Luthor. So, yeah. That's why this Action Comics is all over the place in terms of the numbering, because there was a whole bunch of fill-in issues while the story was being completed. So much so that, like, they had Action Comics Annual number 10 is a bunch of stories, I think they collect it in the back here, that take place around this storyline and kind of flesh out some of the things that are going on in the storyline to kind of tide you over a little bit. And then the actual story, the last issue of the Last Son story here, is Annual number 11. They just don't tell you that as you're flipping through it. So it's a decent storyline, don't get me wrong. The Bizarro one, Escape from Bizarre World, is it worth really getting in Deluxe Edition? No, I don't think so. It is Eric Powell, and I enjoy his art. I've read a little bit of The Goon. The most Eric Powell I think I've read is this story, and also I read the graphic novel, Did You Hear What Eddie Gain Done?, which is about the notorious serial killer. That was creepy as hell, but that was a couple years ago, and this is 2010, maybe? 2011 when he was publishing this. But I think it is a fun little Bizarro story, even though it was hard to make sense of at the time with like speaking backwards or backwards speak. Is he speaking backwards? Is he saying what he means? Is he not saying what he means? Like, there's a couple different ways that Bizarro has been written over the last couple of years, 25 years or so, and it's never consistent. Like, it's always different depending on the writer. This is more of that Action Comics Annual number 10 with some beautiful Art Adams art here. So yeah, there's some fun little side stories in the back, but overall, some covers, a sketchbook. But yeah, I picked it up honestly just to have the Eric Powell storyline, because I have this one. It's in there. And then I got the Brainiac story there. But then I didn't have Legion of Superheroes, so I had to go and get this on eBay. So hella confusing how they collected the Jeff Johns Superman stuff. And even in Absolute, like this is there, the Brainiac stuff's there, but Last Son, not there. Eric Powell, not there. Maybe that's why it got a deluxe, because they did the Absolute with all of the Gary Frank stuff that he's doing. And boy, if you're not reading Geiger now, you're missing out. Geiger is a great story by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank over from the Ghost Machine line. But yeah, that's your quick look at the deluxe edition. Hope you didn't mind my rant, but comes with the territory when you have this much history reading these books. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.